Hi, everybody.
Hi, welcome to Multifamily Her.
We're live.
And
And today we
so,
have a special guest for you guys. But maybe before we introduce our special guest, we're going to do a couple of announcements.
so our next meetup is February 4th, Saturday at 2 p.m. And we're excited. We'll be back at our usual location at the restaurant. And I hope to see a lot of you out. We'll put the link down below so that you can RSVP. And we're excited to just have conversations and help support you in your journey in real estate.
Yeah. And I said a couple of announcements. I think we have one, unless you have some webinars going on, Zoria. Any
No, I don't think I
presentation?
have any other announcement.
Yeah.
I,
What
I
about
can,
Edmonton Real Estate Investment Association? Is
oh,
there
yes.
a meetup next week?
The Edmonton Real Estate Investment Association meetup is February 8th on a Wednesday night. And Brian Banks is going to be speaking about developing like basement suites in properties. So I think it'll be very informative. So if that's something you're interested in secondary suites and developing them legally, then please come out. It's just really good value. And we always have like a mortgage update, a real estate update, update about the what's happening in the city. And it's just a really good opportunity to network as well.
Yeah, those are usually really great meetups. And today we have a very special guest all the way from Toronto, Ontario. Her name is Alla Ladygina, and I hope I pronounced Alla's last name correctly. So Alla is a real estate investor. She lives and she invests in Toronto and GTA, and she invests with her husband, Vlad Ladygin. And they own together Horizon Capital Real Estate Group. It's an investment company that is focused on buying and long-term hold of multifamily buildings. So we're extremely excited to have a conversation today with Alla, especially that she's a busy mom. She has a medical doctor's license. She works in the public health sector, and she also leads a bunch of community groups. So she founded and co-founded groups and organizations focused on the success of women in real estate, and that includes GREI-club, FemPower, and Canadian Real Estate Women Association, which is a national non-for-profit organization providing support directly via events and resources. Basically, they focus on success of women in real estate, and that's something that's very dear and close to our heart as well, because the mission of Multifamily Her is to inspire and support other women and to showcase stories of other female real estate investors, so that we show that it's possible, it's done, and we can support other women on their journey. Do you have anything else to add, Zore, before we bring in Alla?
Welcome her in.
Awesome. Hey, hi, Alla. You're live.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome.
Hi, Ilona. Hi, Zoria. How are you doing?
Great. Nice to have you here with us.
Oh, thank
It's so
you.
good to have you here. Yeah, welcome.
My pleasure.
So, we usually start with our usual questions. Maybe you can tell us about yourself and how you started investing in real estate.
It was an accident. It was an accident. It just happened, we started not doing much about what we were doing. We were doing what were making sense for us and for our situation. We were moving. Jobs were in the other cities. We didn't want to sell the current house because it was close to the Lake Ontario and Toronto. And we just bought another house and we moved there. That's how we learned landlordship and all that. That's how we went to that circus of real estate investing and landlordship. And it became addictive.
Yeah. So
After
did that first property go well?
we still keep it.
Yeah.
It's still dear to our heart, and it actually shows good numbers still because it's a really great location. And in real estate, of course, everything is about location. And who knows what we're going to do with that one, with all the current legislation changing, and with density increasing all the time, especially in in bigger cities. Who knows what we're going to build there, maybe. And we also have kids, so maybe they will be there, or we still keep it.
Is there a big plot of land, Alla?
No, it's a very small piece of land. Well, relatively, for that location, it's a decent size, but you're very limited with your options. So you still
But it's
can do
like on the lake, you said, Lake
Ontario. Yeah,
Ontario. Yeah.
it's right at the Lakeshore Boulevard. So I mean, a little not right at the boulevard, but it's like 10 minutes walk. So it's not on the lake, but
Hmm.
it's 10
Yeah, I
minutes.
know that area well.
Oh
I
yeah.
used to live in Toronto. Yeah, I know
Oh,
what you're
that's
talking
nice.
about.
Yeah, so that's South Etobicoke, and it's very nice there.
Hmm.
And of
Yeah.
course, if you leave that market, it would be really challenging to get back. So we keep that one as long as it shows like decent numbers. With the recent interest rates changes, our definition of decent numbers changed a lot, but it's still good. We still keep
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure. That's
And what
the secret is long-term buy and hold, right? Sorry.
Hmm.
what did you mean by legislation is changing for that
Um,
property?
in Ontario, there was introduced another piece of law that allows you to build at least three units at those pieces of land where you were not allowed to do that before,
Okay.
which is widely used by Ontario landlords right now, investors right now, to increase the density up to 3 units on the same lot. That is why right now garage suits and like coach houses, tiny homes, they're booming right now. There is still a lot of things that needs to be clarified, lots of gray area, lots of unknown, but that cannot scare investors, right? When we
Oh
see
yeah.
that, we will go there and then we'll figure out. So that's what lots
Yeah.
of other people do. That's not our focus, though. Having said that, that's not our focus, and it's not going to be our focus. But we keep an eye on all of that stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
There
definitely.
is a
And plus, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there is a difference between shiny object syndrome when you just think like, oh, okay, I'm going to start that, and being narrow, like having narrow vision. Like we have to observe everything what's going on, but at the same time, we particularly in Horizon Capital, we stay focused on multifamily acquisition.
Okay, that's great. And how, I'm just curious, Ella, how did you jump from single family to multifamily? How did you make that jump?
We never jumped. It
You
was
just
single.
started with multis?
We didn't jump. I mean, we gradually grew there through I think with single family, there was just like a couple of single families, and then it quickly turned to something bigger, and then there were fourplexes, and then once we saw the power of commercial loan
Mm-hmm.
and the power of cap rate, then we just realized that that's where we're going. Plus the necessity to qualify for those smaller mortgages, like fourplex and sevenplex, they can be very similar you don't if you just see that, if you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But as an active investor, you know that there is a huge difference in your return on time and your return on stress, because as active investors, we all face lots of stress, and we commit to virtually forever holding that building. So you want to make sure that your return on time, your return on stress is worth it,
Should be
right?
worth it. Yes. If you go through so much stress of acquisition, yeah, you'd better hold on to it.
Yeah.
There are still some challenges, because in fourplex you can like some people can totally use such strategies, great strategies, I think, especially in the current market, as a house hacking. You can occupy one of the units and say use it for legal, to get that unit vacant legally, and occupy that unit, and then renovate and rent the rest and have your mortgage covered, and that can be an excellent start of your journey, which that would not be possible in this particular way on a sixplex or more, right? So if you I see many people who are trying to start right in multifamily, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but it also depends on like what you have. If you want to start in multifamily, I think ideally, especially in the current market, you'd better know what you're doing, because if you're starting in multifamily and probably using other people's money, it's better to know, like, to have at least an idea what can go wrong.
Hmm.
So, and it's not about if it will go wrong. It's more about when it go wrong, right? So it's better to learn some of those mistakes when it's just your money, maybe, and your responsibility, maybe. I mean, I'm not trying to say don't go or go with, be brave, go big, but I'm just saying that there are still some pros and like starting with smaller properties. Oh, where is she?
No, she just went off. She'll be right back. But yeah, I totally agree that you have to have.
You're back.
You're back.
I was like, what's going on?
Sorry, my kid is yelling by the door, so I had to give him
I
instructions where to
understand.
find more pizza.
I told all my kids, like, be careful. Give me this. What we have, like half hour, 20 minutes.
Half an hour, yes. Just be
No
quiet for
one
half an
enters the
hour.
room without their pants or with
Oh, Alla, we
face.
had that. I think
because I'm going to say that I'm a good mom.
We had that happen on the show actually before.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
All the time, right? Because when if it means if it will happen, it will happen when it shouldn't be happening.
Oh yeah, but it's like live and everybody can see it and hear you.
Oh.
Yes, what's happening? For sure.
That brings another sparkle to what we do as women investors, right? And that's why I appreciate so much what you do. And I'll be so happy to have Ilona at in March to be as our speaker. That would be just awesome, because I truly think that we have as women investors, we have something to add to this conversation.
For sure, yes, and I'm super excited about that too. Actually, sorry, but like we are like jumping all over the place, but maybe before we continue with the multifamily conversation, are you able to tell us like how many kids you have? Because I think you have more than two, more than one for sure.
I have 3 kids, and they're all boys. I also have a male cat and male dog. So there's so much testosterone in this house that I need to be. This is another reason why I love a company of women, because I need a little bit more of that feminine joy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my kids are speaking about kids. My kids are 14, 5, and 3 years old. So we still have a full spectrum of troubles running around the house. But they're all good. I think that what I do in real estate is one of the, actually maybe the biggest asset, like why I value the real estate, my real estate journey the most, is the part of the mindset that I'm able to give to my kids, to pass down to my kids. It's not so much about money, and I don't even know, probably they will inherit something in monetary substance, but the biggest thing that I value is the mindset, because I was thinking for quite a good amount of years, what could be the idea that that I can teach them, my sons, because raising a man, it's quite a lot of job, right? It's not just about feeding them right and having them exercising and limiting their screen time, right? It's so much more. And I'm not minimizing that part of raising them as a medical professional. Like that is important too. But then why we do that? Because it's really important to raise them with that proactive mindset, with that mindset of being open to, with a mindset that needs to have a vision, that wants to do something bigger, to improve life of other people. That's why I enjoy real estate. How many lives I can touch with just one building. I remember the moment when I don't remember what exactly we had at that time, but I remember I was falling asleep and I was thinking that, hey, I am providing a safe, nice housing to, I think, 7 families at that time.
Amazing.
And that for me was such a moment of realization that I truly give them something valuable, real, that I can see. It's just so tangible and it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
That that is, I think, the most addictive part. The most. Of course, it needs to be supported by numbers, because otherwise we cannot do it in a sustainable way. But that truly gives you that idea of bringing the value to the world. That's what I want my kids to value, to continue. And the beauty of real estate is also that they don't have to be real estate investors themselves. They just
Mhm.
need to understand it. They need to know what that means. And I'm pretty sure that whatever they do, they're going to make really good money, but as much money that they will need to invest it somewhere. And they will
Right.
need that
Yeah.
tool. That's why everyone needs to have that piece of financial literacy, however you call it. So that's why I'm so grateful for this real estate journey and people
I
like you
love
with whom I can talk every day. I mean, not every day, but I mean, every day I talk to someone similar to like with sharing my ideas, like sharing my values. And that really
it.
changes life. That changed my life.
So powerful. Yeah. Like you were saying about, providing safe housing for 7 families, and I like had goosebumps. Yeah. Like that's what it's all about,
I
right? Like,
remember that moment. Yeah. And we were living, I think that we always will been living like at a level that our lifestyle was supported by our 9 to 5 jobs. So that was like normal life. And I was just like in my normal room on my normal bed, like everything looks the same. And then it just occurred to me and I realized that I'm in a fourth dimension.
yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I think it's really one of the 6 human needs actually to contribute.
Mhm.
And so like,
Yeah.
and that's real estate allows you to do that. And
Yeah.
what I'm curious about, and probably others are too, are you still working as a medical professional? Are you doing this full time? And how do you do it all?
I work in public health sector. So I stopped working with patients one-on-one back in 2007 because I just realized that I'm not wired for that. I mean, I like that. I enjoy that so much, but I'm not ready to dedicate my life to one-on-one work with patients.
Mhm.
And right now I work in public health sector. That means that this is the sector of healthcare that uh, prevents diseases and promotes health. The
Mhm.
idea is very similar to wealth and investing too.
Yeah.
Solve your problem before that happened. $1 invested in public health saves $7 in medical care.
Prevention. Yeah.
Exactly the same idea as we do that in real estate investing. If you think proactively about your pension, about education, about financial freedom, you better invest that $1 today because later you're going to pay $7 for the same value.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah.
So,
And
sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting. You go ahead,
no,
and then
no,
I'll ask the question.
no, no.
Yeah. So, if you would say that, what is that one thing that you would say that you learned in your profession that translates into real estate? Like, is there a lesson learned that can be applied? I know you specialize in social determinants of health, and yeah, are there any like parallels that you can draw or lessons learned from medical field that you can translate into real estate?
If I just to say just one, that would be the one that I just said. That if you, oh my goodness, that is so cute. That you need to think proactively and plan and observe your current resources and what you can do with them and where you can go today, because today your action will define your health or wealth tomorrow. And if you try to deal tomorrow with what you have tomorrow, that'll cost you 7 times more.
Yeah.
Well, seven, it's in health. It's in health. In That's an actual number from public health and from healthcare. In investing, we know that that number can be way worse or better than 7,
Yes.
because oftentimes we as active investors can provide much better results. Maybe not in the year like 2022, but still, like oftentimes, if you think before, then technically it can be infinite return.
And it
Yeah.
averages out, right? Like, especially if it's
But
a
the key,
long-term
but
buy
the
and
key is
hold.
that you need to understand that you can be healthy. There is always room to improve your health, always. And so there is always room to improve your wealth.
I love
And
that. Yeah.
yeah, and that that beautiful saying, "Health is wealth, wealth is health." It's
Yeah.
so true because wealth is one of social determinants of health. Like as much as we can like it or not like it, people who have more access to financial support, they do tend to get sick less and be less prone to diseases and recover faster and like all those things. Same idea. Without health, why would you need that wealth? So
I love it what Lindsay put here. Your action today will determine your health and wealth tomorrow. That's such a great quote by Alla. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching us live. Let us know if you have any questions or anything like that that you want Alla to address. And yeah, I see that Lindsay says, love the public and population health approach and the parallel to real estate investing. Yeah, for sure. Lindsay is another professional that works in a medical field as well. She's here from Alberta.
I can feel it. Yeah, thank you, Lindsay. Yeah. And it comes very naturally. It doesn't come as something, the concept that you need to like combine the pieces of puzzle, because once you start thinking and caring about community, because in public health, we still have patients, we still have clients, but our clients are communities. It can be a school or a nuclear power station or casino or anything else, because in Canada still public health does a really great job promoting health and preventing diseases with different employees and employers. And I started to think about casino. I forgot what I was saying. Because I had a casino one time as my client, and I just started.
I wonder how that went.
So public health is really exciting thing to do. I really love that job, but it will be time to let it go soon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like to concentrate on real estate, or I don't know if you can share that.
Yeah. Not much to share yet, but I think it's just a matter of short time. I'll keep you posted on that, but you cannot, as much as I do love public health, you cannot sit on several chairs, including being a mom and a real estate investor and a leader of women investors group and all that stuff, traveling the world.
Can you talk a little bit about that, Alla? Like, how do you combine all of these different aspects of who you are, and is it about finding time? Is it about making time? Is it like, what's your approach to finding that balance and integration of all these different aspects in your life?
I love it's like a funny short story. Someone asked a successful woman, so what's your, how you do it all? What's your secret? How you have time for all that? What's your secret? And she said, the secret is I don't. So same with me. I don't have time for all that. And I think the secret is not trying to be perfect in all areas, because first, I think it's not possible. And if it's possible, then probably you're not putting enough on your pile. But at the same time, I love that Pareto principle rule. 80 to 20. You don't have to have 100. You only need 80% of results oftentimes. Very little things in life are white and black. Most of them are just grayish, and it really depends on you. What do you want? What do you want? And every person is different. For me, I don't need to be a perfection. There is no area in this life where there would be a competition important for me so much that I would be in perfection. Because I know that I already won, because that's how I see myself. And I think that if you feel like you always have to be perfect, then maybe revise why you do this whole thing. Are you looking for a validation from outside? Then probably nothing will be able to satisfy that craving. So be always sure that you're always right, but also to be sure that you have it all right. You have to have that strong inner compass that always shows to what you want. I always repeat that, but this is what is going to guide you through your whole life. And it may change, and it's okay to change. You don't have to be pursuing something assertively that maybe you don't want anymore. And but if you do still want it, then do it. And if you know that you're walking towards that goal, you don't have to be running towards that goal if all you can do right now is just going towards that goal. And hopefully the end goal for all of us is the joy and happiness and still having enough power and energy to be enjoying that. I don't know, we were talking about our real estate, but now we're
about life.
I think I think it resonates with real estate journey too, because we were like maybe many other investors. 2021 was crazy. We were like buying and buying, and our goals were about, okay, buying how many units we're gonna buy in the next 3 months. That's how the goal would sound at that time. And then in 2022, we still added I think 13 units to our portfolio. They all in GTA, not GTA, but they all very close to GTA. So that's very highly competitive area, and we're still like hustling and doing all that stuff. And they're like, oh, okay, so that is time to slow down, just naturally, because thank God the market slowed down. I'm not happy with the rates, but with the price increases, like it needed to stop, because so many real estate investors were just burnt out and exhausted. But how can you stop if you just cannot stop? Not in that market, right? And I think that was a really great learning for so many investors, especially those who entered the field during COVID. That it's not about number of doors. It's not about, I don't know, asset class, or like it is about your goals in real estate, and it is about how you're achieving them. Are you still alive or what? Like if you're dead, like,
yes, are you enjoying your life? Like, what's the purpose of you like hustling so hard? Like, right? Like, what are you
Yes,
trying to achieve?
Yeah, the goal really shouldn't be the joy, right? They should try and have that now.
yeah, there should be the balance, because when I say joy, as much as I can say joy and flow, go with the flow, I'm all about that graceful, being super strong while seemingly effortless and all that stuff. I love, like we all, like I love ballet and all those things, being strong but not showing that like you go what you're going through maybe. But at the same time, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm so tired, like I'm depressed, I am exhausted, I'm burnt out. Because this is another level of, while you're highly productive, admitting that this is another level of self-care, of mental health care about yourself, about your family. Because if you're just trying to push through for too long, then what, all your resources are going to go nowhere, to waste. And then your family will be affected, your marriage, your kids, your portfolio.
Yeah.
And exactly. Yeah.
Because even to manage managers, it takes lots of time and effort and focus. Oftentimes in real estate, the biggest money we make that when we're super focused and we're relaxed. That's when usually we make those decisions that bring us the most of that money. And then after that, we hustle, we grind, and or our team. But the biggest decisions they make when you're relaxed. Well, at least that's worked for me, when I'm relaxed and when I'm focused. And then the miracle happens.
Decisions then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it how you put it, Alla, for sure. Because otherwise, like, what's the point of doing it all just for the appearances and saying that I acquired this many units in a year? Like, what's the end goal? And I mean, if for you it's different goals for different people, and it's all good.
Always.
As long as people are true to themselves and their goals, and it's not affecting their life negatively and life of those around them, then it's all good. Go for it. But just be true to yourself, right? Like, and know what it is that you're trying to achieve.
And that's actually the hardest part of the question, to clearly hear your own voice and see and distinct it from the noise from other people.
From other people, or what you may have been told when you were younger of what you should do, or other, what some people's struggles are, like what you may have had a previous image of yourself of what you should have been. And, now that you have other options, like it's okay to change that and have a different goal that will,
a different life stage, right?
A different lifestyle. Even. Yeah.
You can build anything as long as you can imagine it. But imagining it is the hardest piece. Imagining it that way that you can believe it. Because if you imagine but you don't believe, it doesn't mean anything. If you believe but you're not imagining enough, then it's not going to lead you anywhere.
Yeah.
I love how this conversation is really about real estate, but it's about so much more, like, because when you're thinking about real estate, it's how it integrates with the rest of your life, like why you're doing this, it's just so much more than just buying units and houses. And
I don't like units that much to just devote my life to them. I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy the whole process. And then sometimes in one property, I enjoy acquisition and all that hunting thing. And then in another one, I really enjoy how the renovation turned out. And in another one, I really love the tenants. In another one, I really love the cash for key deal, how it worked and how everyone's so happy. And like one of my tenants, there was a cash for key story, and like we're not sure where she would go, like, and like placing her on the street, even though she agrees to take the money, it's like, like, what are you gonna do? Like, see your night dreams all your life after? But she was able to go to another city and reunite again with her mom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
she didn't talk she did talk to her by phone, but she didn't go there. So using our money, she was able to settle everything as she needed here. She had some stuff to finalize here, but she needed money she didn't have. So she finished it all here and she went there using the money, and then she was living with the mom. And then later she wrote me that, you know what, I rented a place beside my mom's apartment.
Oh, that's a win-win. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
so that was a really like a nice story that shows you that it's not just about placing them like,
Yeah, and that there can be a good outcome from that for both parties. Right?
oh, 100%.
Mostly, like when people think of
because-
that, it sounds like it's a bad deal for the tenants. Really.
No,
And
in that case, that was a really good deal because she was abandoned here. Basically, she needed help, and she wouldn't get that help here because social system here is overloaded. Again, going back to social determinants of health and wealth, and it's
And
interconnected.
it just shows like the kind of person you are, Alla, that you care deeply about, a tenant, right? That you just
as
not
much
like
as I, as much as I
but
can,
like,
as much as I
yeah.
can, but at the same time, landlordship is a tough game. You have to be tough and you have to know the boundaries. Because being a good landlord doesn't mean you have to be nice, especially if it's about multifamily building. As much as I want to be helpful to one of the tenants, if it affects life of other tenants,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be able to set the boundaries and make sure that everyone's understand that that's not you, but that is how the rules are working.
Yeah, that it's also a business.
That's also a business.
Yeah.
And my advice to maybe I don't know, no one asked my advice though, but
Please tell us, yeah, what
this is
would you recommend?
coming from my heart. If you're a new landlord or something, like someone not too experienced yet, don't try to be pleasing your landlords. I'm not saying that everyone should do that, but I never provide any gifts or cards or anything other than Home Depot that can support the unit itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want my tenant to know from the very beginning that this is business. I provide you with a high quality product, and you provide me with the rent. And if you don't like it, you don't have to stay here. Like, I don't usually hold my tenants to stay longer than, I mean, if they want to leave sooner than their lease,
Mm-hmm.
they're always welcome to do that. But I try to not to be nice, not to please
Well,
them.
yeah, the point is not to be friends with your tenants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then things can, and that can be
Again,
hard when you're like self-managing, to kind of almost get too close to them.
yeah, that is about those where you're self-managing. But yeah, it's just about the building that perspective that you're a good landlord if you provide good product for a good price. That's it.
Safe, clean housing, right?
Yeah,
That's
whatever, like depending on your asset class, whatever it may be. Some of my rentals, they're pretty, how to say, they're decent, but they're nothing like high end.
It
But
doesn't have to be high end as long as it's clean and safe, right, for the tenants.
it's clean, it's safe, it's renovated.
Yeah.
So it is there, everything's working. So hopefully everything's working. I just
Yeah.
got a response that someone was not working.
If they tell you that it's if they have a problem. Alla, I'm like dying to know about how because I know you invest in real estate together with your husband, and I'm just like really curious how the dynamic works between you two. Do you have separation of duties, or like what is it that how does it work for you? And what would your advice be to somebody who is starting in real estate and trying to get their spouse on board? It's a loaded question.
I never tried to get my spouse on board. Why would they try to get their spouse on board though?
I don't know, like if it's just a couple that's starting out, let's say, like what would your recommendation or advice be to a couple that's working together, that's venturing to work together in real estate?
You know what? It's a really hard question because it involves a lot, too many moving pieces, because every
Yeah.
marriage is different, every real estate journey is different. I would say that if you see your neighbor, I mean, your real estate investor fellow who works together as a partner, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need your husband on your team. Before you take someone on your team, you need to make sure that they're going to bring value to your team. You need to make sure that you get right people into right seats. You wouldn't hire just your mom just because she's your mom, or you maybe get, if she's not the right person for a right seat, you probably would find a seat that would work for her and somehow would work for you, just to give her some satisfaction. I'm just saying. But you wouldn't put her as another active investor and a second, like 50% equity partner necessarily to your deal just because she's your mom. Same idea with your husband.
It's a good perspective.
Agreed.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about like, oh, but you'll go further if you're both on board and going the same direction, but like you don't necessarily have to be both involved to the same extent or right, at all. Like I think it would definitely helps with your spouse is supportive of what you're doing, but they don't need to be involved. Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, just make sure that he's the right person to go to the right seat. Maybe he will provide you way more support if he's just at home. I don't know. I mean, like taking care of kids or something like that. If he does none of those, then
there are like other ways to contribute, right? To
exactly. And real estate journey is not something that you can just decide and go to. I think it's like being like working with patients. If you don't like work one-on-one with patients, nothing can force you work in medical field. Nothing. Like no, even if you force yourself, it's going to be miserable for both of you as a professional and for patient as well. Having said all that, it's really nice to be on a team with a partner, just like Zora said. It can be a very productive partnership if you two are together on this journey. And even a partner who is stay at home and not actively contributing to real estate can be a really huge support. Because sometimes when Vlad tells me something about, because he's the one who's doing multifamily analyzing and like top level masterminds with bigger investors and all those things. Like those guys have like 1,000 doors, 500 doors, or all in South Ontario, like very cool stuff. But sometimes when he says, you know what, I was analyzing 5 deals, this, and this, we got the DSR like this here, like this, here, that's what we can get for this. And he just needs a little bit of that spark to maybe like, like another set of eyes. And that's where you need to understand what's going on as a spouse. Also, that's maybe valuable for women too, right? Even if you think like, oh, I often see that at FemPower events or other events, women saying like, I don't know, real estate. I don't like talking real estate. Real estate is not for me. I'm just here with my husband. It's way more interesting if you also understand what's going on. It's like when your husband comes from work and starts telling you about his boss. You'd better know the situation and keep in mind what happened during the last, I don't know, like month, so that you can continue with the conversation and be the active listener. So the more you involve, the better. And about husband, I don't know. I just never was trying to pull someone to any conversation or to. It's hard to chase. Don't chase, attract. Show that numbers are working. Show what your first deal, how your first deal worked. But maybe don't rely on your husband as a contractor, especially if he doesn't have an experience, because that can be really heartbreaking for that person.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective. But I like that. Just attract, because same with investors. Yeah, you don't. Doesn't work to chase investors.
Yeah,
or team members. Yeah,
you don't coax. You don't nag. You don't like pressure, right? You just
You can pressure. You can pressure when you know that there is just one last push which is left. We all need sometimes that last push, you know.
A little
I
push.
don't want to. Maybe I'll just don't want. You know what? Just do it. Okay. But it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be the beginning. Like if you need to start pushing in the beginning of journey, no.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What worked for me is showing how passionate I am about real estate and how passionate I am and what outcomes I'm trying to achieve, and also listening to my spouse, what kind of outcomes he's trying to achieve. So to integrate the two and see how we can both achieve our outcomes through real estate. That was really, I think that was pivotal for us on our journey.
And probably outcomes were very like somehow overlapping, and that area where those were overlapping that united you again in this journey. And that's why I love real estate journey too, because this is like another circle in this spiral of relationship too, because you always need to pursue something together. Because I believe that relationships, with its friendship or relationship with your partner, they always based not so much on the past that you have together, but on the future that you're going together and excited about.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, if you don't have hope, then you need to be working towards something. It helps so much. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. Zora, do you have any other questions? I know
I know you have the list of questions
beyond our half an hour.
Yeah, I thought this was a great conversation. That it's just shows that it's so much more than buildings and numbers, right? It's
but without those buildings,
the buildings too.
Different level.
I'm grateful for those buildings and units because they brought us together and to have this conversation.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Well,
how much is the life? How long?
Well, we usually go for like 25-30 minutes, but when we have guest speakers, we sometimes go over.
I see.
Yeah,
forgot to tell you.
Yeah, that's really my pleasure. The conversation really went all different directions, and
Thank you so much, Alla. It was such a pleasure, and I'm sure that our viewers will find it very useful and lots of value. You dropped lots of valuable insight. And like what I really appreciate about you is that you don't you're not afraid to like go against the grain, and like to actually like voice your true opinion, what you actually think. So, even though sometimes you hear specific things, and instead of like repeating those things, you actually have your own opinion that you're not afraid to voice. So this was really refreshing. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I'm not sure what exactly you're talking about.
It's the Eastern European.
Well, it's like, how do you do it all? I don't.
I don't. Yeah, I just don't.
Oh, but that's true because too many people think that I just the conversation that we had, and like, no, why would you? Why would you try to achieve it all?
Yeah.
Or like those buildings, are you all your buildings still cash flowing? How are you doing? Gosh, they're not cash flowing. What are you talking about? You're all stressed. Like, how are you doing? I'm stressed. And it's normal to be not normal. It's okay not to be okay. And that's exactly where we are. And I think investors and women in real estate specifically need to be open with expressing how are they feeling, maybe if they feel they need to express that. It's okay if you're distressed, if you're vulnerable, if it's okay if your investment didn't work and you made a mistake purchasing something in 2021 that can turn a complete disaster in 2022, because that's life and you don't have to be perfect. Still, if you sell something and you still keep something, most likely, hopefully, you still be better than if you didn't do anything.
Oh, absolutely. There's not one real estate successful investor who has not made any mistakes, right? Perfection will just completely stop you from making any progress.
And again, we come to that external validation. Who you're trying to impress?
Yeah, I know. I like the mindset of like, it doesn't really matter what other people think.
But
that you can get to that point, then
that relaxation really comes with lots of responsibility that you're the most important accountability partner. Because if you allow yourself not to be your accountability partner, it will all go to nowhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
So
has to come from within.
don't
Yeah.
confuse that go with the flow and know that seemingly effortless with that in the end of the day, you are the one who's going to be your hardest judge, right?
Yeah, we're always the hardest on ourselves.
Yeah.
But I also think that it's important for women to realize, and who are just starting in real estate, is that it's never a smooth road. It's always a bumpy road, and it's your attitude towards those bumps, how you're gonna get over them. And it's possible. It's all possible. Just have to be prepared that it's not gonna be smooth. It's never smooth,
Yeah, I think so.
and it's okay.
We'll figure it out.
Might as well just enjoy the bumps, right, and everything that comes along on the ride.
Well, enjoy the freedom that you're riding this, that you're driving this car. Bumps are okay, but you're the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine yourself at 18 years old. Would you rather be with your dad who was driving you somewhere where you don't want to be driven? Like, okay, fine. Or it's just your first ride. You just got your license, or maybe not just got your license. Whatever. I just call it freedom. Freedom is probably the biggest value for me, my core value. Whatever that freedom of whatever it is, that's all freedom.
Yeah, that is freedom. Yeah, even if there's bumps, yeah, if you have the freedom to go where you want to go, like that's what's most important. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's
well,
a great analogy.
Thank you so much. Yes, thanks so much for all these analogies, and thank you for your time and insight.
Yeah. I had so much fun. Thank you so much, ladies.
Yeah.
Great questions.
Yeah. Bye. Thanks for joining us. Okay.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
You too. Bye.